thorough analysis. So, oh yeah, Medspa business, great sector, right? Great sector. So I'm already excited. So you are off. I can see your screen. It's like shared. So if you hit the green button at the top of your slideshow to make it full screen, then we'll be able to see it in glorious full color.
I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. Oh my
goodness. Go
Go
top left. You'll see 3 colors. Hit the green.
Okay.
There we go.
And what's this going on? Do you see this on the bottom?
No, I can just see your slide deck. So there you go. We're off. We're off and running.
Okay. So this is a Medspa business that I'm working on right now. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having some issues here. Okay. Yeah.
Don't worry.
There's it's just something on the way, so I'm just like, I can't read my own screen because of this control panel, but I think I just managed that.
Okay.
Minimize this. Okay, so it's established since 2008. This practice has several sources of income, covering a wide array of services to provide patients with the unique combination of conventional, anti-aging, and cosmetic medicine. Currently, it employs 1 full-time doctor, 1 full-time physician assistant, and 1 full-time APRN, which is a nurse. The doctor had developed a set of proprietary treatments, giving them a competitive advantage in the community. It's a growing affluent community with an average household income of $97,000 a year. The practice sees an average of 20 new patients per week without advertising, mainly due to the revolutionary weight loss, cosmetic, and hormone replacement treatments. Doctor just introduced another innovative hair restoration treatment that will make an exponential income growth for the practice. Doctor is retiring but willing to train and pass all of his intellectual and proprietary advanced treatments for the buyer. Gross revenue is 2.1 million with the net profit of 1.1 million over a year. We expect an increase of 100,000 yearly with the additional of new treatments modalities, advertisement, and new merchant service charge cash discount application. Add more providers to meet the demand, increase wellness service offerings, and or grow the membership program. And you will be able to add more revenue and success to an already lucrative business. Doctor is asking 2.5 million, includes all laser and cosmetic equipment, plus the real estate. He also offered to purchase the business only without the real estate for 1.750. 1,750,000.
Okay.
Let me try to go to next slide, and it's not going. I'm sorry. This isn't like my first time doing this, so I.
No worries. You're doing great. You're doing great, and so far this is an absolutely baller deal, right? So let's keep going.
Okay.
Wow.
The practice has database of 17,600 patients, of which 70% are in the age group between 35 to 65-year-old, 60% are female patients, an average of 20 new patients per week without advertisement. 30% of revenue comes from the insurance and the rest from the cosmetic cash patients. We have 7 large cosmetic equipment, all fully paid, which is Soprano Ice Laser Hair Removal, Sharp Light Laser, Omnimax Platform, E-Matrix for Sublime and Sublimative RF, Hydrofacial Machine, Vivace RF, Nordlis IPL, ImSlim Neo Body Sculpting Contouring Platform. We also own, they also own a private label line of the skin cosmetics products and another line of nutraceuticals. We also perform several skin dermatological procedures such as skin biopsies, tags, warts and cyst removal, acne medication extractions, treatments, medical facial, dermaplaning, rosacea, and dark spot treatment, PRP, and IPL photofacial. We expect an increase of 100K yearly with an addition of new treatments, modalities, advertisement, and the new merchant service charge cash discount application, add more providers to meet the demand, increase wellness service offerings, and or grow the VIP membership program. And you'll be able to add more revenue and success to an already lucrative business. We have 4 exam rooms, two aesthetics rooms, 1 X-ray room, 1 laboratory room, 1 kitchen lunch break room, large front desk station, and lobby. Real estate office is 1,837 square feet and available for rent, 35 per square foot if purchased business only without the real estate. Okay, so this is I put the doctors the latest tax return. If you look first at this business, it doesn't really look that lucrative on the paper on his tax return because the doctor is just trying not to pay taxes. If you look right here on the bottom, there is ordinary business income is negative 123,000 this year, and then. If you look, I put the previous, the 2021 and 2020 tax return next to each other, just to give you the picture that that he is trying not to pay taxes. He writes everything off, so his business income is only 18,000 in 2021, and 2020 it was 102. So the older he gets, the more he's getting himself to the retirement. He start putting huge contributions into his pension fund and 401k, which is like I looked up from his financials. It's about like 200,000 in 1 month. You know, he was putting all of his pension contributions, and
wow.
he was buying cars. Like a brand new Acura, he just purchased cash. She put everything on the business. He was paying himself and his wife a salary of 605,000 a year. So these huge add bags that I kind of consolidated on this next page, and I put this down here, which here's my add bags. I put the owner salary of 609 back. I put Acura cars. Actually, it was 56,000. I don't know why I put 36.
Yeah.
Pension fund 318. That was of the 2022. There's a even more larger contribution to pension fund I discovered through his P&L, especially in the month of September, which is right now. And meals and entertainment, travel. Then I also accounted for general manager salary when the doctor is gonna go back out of the business. I'm planning to hire a GM and 1 nurse, esthetician who will be doing the doctor's work. So I put about 300,000 here.
Okay.
And I think this is end of this, and I want to show you my RGL list, but I'm trying to exit the screen now.
Yeah, let's have a look at the one sheet, and then I'll give you my thoughts, and then pass to my team. Again, hit the green button, the top of that spreadsheet. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Is there anything you want to touch on that sheet, or are you happy for me to give you some feedback?
I'm happy for you to give me some feedback.
Right. Okay, great. Okay, so on the surface, I really like this deal. I love the med spa industry. I love the fact that it's got a very affluent customer base. They've got a 17,000 database list. They do no marketing. I need to understand a bit more at what capacity they're at in the current facility. But you can always move facilities and hire additional both admin and clerical people. So this is a very, very big growth opportunity. And Chris Moore, my business partner, if you've not met him, he used to own a marketing agency that used to market for these guys. So there's a ton of value that we could bring to help you scale this business if you buy it. So I really like the deal. Two things that I would touch on, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy. Number one is, so the positives are, this is a massive growth opportunity, right? And the two things I think you need to look at, number one is when you're buying a practice like this and the person that is really the business is retiring, then you really need to kind of work hard on that transition. So he's going to need, you're going to need an extended handover period with this person until you can then hire and train somebody to kind of come in. So I think that's one of the biggest issues that you need to focus on, although that's all fixable. And then the second thing is in terms of the ad backs, you'd want to make sure that your CPA, does some pretty rigorous due diligence around those ad backs and just make sure that they're all tax compliant, right? So, and you see this all the time in these types of industries where the owner's just basically taking all the cash out of the business. Some of it is in salary and distributions, 401k contributions is fine. But when people buy cars and all these other things, $8,000 a year on meals, right? And, I do it, when I go out for dinner, like even last night, I'm in Florida with my wife, we went out for dinner. I paid for the dinner using one of my companies, not Dealmaker. I use one of my companies that I own, to pay for the meal, right? So, so you want to make sure when deals have got really big ad backs that they are kind of like tax compliant, because what happens is, unfortunately, if you end up doing a stock deal for this, all that IRS stuff in the future is now your liability. And yeah, we can have the seller provide you with warrants and reps and all those different things. But it's just something to be kind of mindful of, when you do this. When you did your opening slide, you talked about it was a $2.5 million deal, including the real estate, $1.75 million deal with no real estate, and you had a $1.1 million net income, which let's call that EBITDA for now, because you've probably not got a lot of depreciation and amortization. And we know he's running the business from a tax efficiency perspective. But when we look at those EBITDA numbers for last year and the year before, they're like half of what those original numbers were. So when I'm looking at the deal and I'm thinking, the business alone is doing 1.1 million of EBITDA and the other one 1.75 for the business, that was a red flag for me, because that multiple is way too low. So it looks like the true profitability, forget 2 years ago when it was COVID and no one could go to these places, and I get that. It looks like a true normalized average profits around the kind of 525 mark. So 525, a 3.2 times multiple for this type of business is, it's pretty good. And I would buy the real estate with it, and then I'd work with David Marcantonio to see how he can kind of fudge the 504 loan structure into this. You probably won't get the full 25 years because the real estate's only worth about a third of the deal, but you might get it on a 15, 16-year total amortization, which would be, pretty inexpensive debt. So I think this probably looks like it's going to be an SBA deal, unless you could offer him a lot more money, buy the business, leave the real estate behind potentially, and offer him, say, $3 million over 10 years on an annuity top line, and then you're still cash flowing very, very nicely without you having to go down the financing route. But knowing these doctors, they're pretty savvy. This is probably looking like an SBA deal for me. But all in all, subject to you figuring out the transfer of ownership with the guy, and subject to all the ad backs going through due diligence and being fully tax compliant, then I really like this deal. So That's me. Jeremy, what do you think, man?
Yeah, pending a few other things I would want to learn about the business. I love these types of businesses, and I'm actually looking at other healthcare businesses, like this. The valuation, yeah, I would probably just use the last 2 years, around 525,000. Put a 3 multiple on that. I think you're probably around 1.5, 1.6 million. So I think that valuation without the real estate is very reasonable. One thing I would want to look at though is the working capital. I know you've got an adjustment in there. Just the pension makes sense. That's an accrual. He's probably just going to pay that once he files his tax return. So that's all owner related. But credit cards and loans are about, looks like 225,000. So current liabilities are more than the current assets, which you never want to see in a business. So I'd really want to understand that. But he's probably stripping all the cash out, it looks like, in terms of salaries and pensions. But maybe not for this deal, but just kind of a teaching point for other people when they are looking at deals. You always want the current assets to be greater than the current liabilities. Otherwise, basically, you don't have enough cash to pay all your debts in that scenario. So in terms of the business, again, I love the business. What I would look to do is in these types of medical businesses, and I'd want to learn more about the license, but I'm assuming with the medical license that they need to have this, that they'd be able to provide services all over the state of California. So with the expansion of telehealth and everybody wanting people to bring services to you, whether it's Grubhub or Amazon or whatnot, I would go out and probably hire a bunch of RNs in like Miami, Tampa, Orlando, all over the state, and then have them go out and basically deliver these services like in-home services, and then set the doctor up so they're providing telehealth. You could scale the heck out of this business real fast by doing that. And I'm actually working with another group that finances businesses like this creatively. I'm proving the model out before I offer it up to everybody because I want to make sure I understand it inside and out. But that's kind of what they do. So again, I love the business. I'd be all over this.
Yeah, Jeremy, your funky funding model that I know everything about, I think would be a perfect model for this type of deal. But yeah, agree with everything you've said. Stephen Holland, what do you think, man? You on mute? Okay, we'll go back to Stephen in a minute. So is David Martin on the call? This is bang in his wheelhouse. I don't see him on the list. I know he's still traveling from the event. David, I don't see you. So we'll wait for Stephen to unmute.
Hey,
hey.
This is Kyle. I have a question. So
hi, Kyle.
I've
I
actually
didn't
done
see
a
you
couple.
on the list, man.
All good. I'm in Austin. I'm traveling, so I'm on my phone. Otherwise, the service would be crap. But yeah, touching on what Carl said, it was a great event this weekend. It was my first deal maker event ever. It was awesome. I've done a few Medspa M&A type transactions. One of the big things I'd like to know about this is generally people only go if it's within 5 miles of their house. It tends to be competitive. So I was wondering, do you have any idea what the market looks like around this physical location?
No, I have no idea about the market situation there.
Yeah, I would say just look closely, honestly, around the market and do some market research if you're going to move to, LOI, and figure out how many other locations are around, because that tends to be one of the toughest things in that space.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's a good next step for you, Olya, to just go on Google Maps, look at where this place is physically located, and see how many competitors you've got locally, and that could be an opportunity, right? I love Jeremy's idea of scaling this up through telehealth. You could do that within this business, or even create a JV. But potentially you could do a little roll up with this. You could buy other businesses and create like a hub and spoke kind of footprint for this. But that's what
I want to do. That's my plan. But
okay, perfect. Alrighty, great. Okay, so get your votes in, guys. Anybody got any questions for Olya on this, just raise your hand. Let me type in the chat. So let me look in the chat. So loads of green lights. David Evans has asked, is this in your lane? Do you need to partner with somebody?
I may need to partner with somebody because I'm not a nurse or a doctor. I own a business. I'm a business operator, but not in the med spa sector.
Okay, yeah. So you definitely might want to look at a partner. Is this a Yasmin's asked? Is this a franchise?
No.
No, good. What else? Who else asked a question? Then we'll go to Jolene. Deep in the heart of Texas. We'll go to Jolene in a minute. But any more questions in the chat? Yeah, Carter Baker sent you a DM. He's looking at some med spas. This is bang in his lane. This is his buy box. So you got a partner right there inside of this family. So definitely check your DMs and definitely reach out and brainstorm with Carter on this, which is really cool. I can't see any other. Oh yeah, David Gerald. David Gerald, I'm going to unmute you so you can ask your question live. Great question.
Which one was it? The Tam Sam Som question?
The Tam Sam Som.
Yeah. So is that since I'm new back to the group, Carl? Is that something we've talked about in the group, or is that do I need to do a little explaining?
Yeah, do a little explanation.
Okay. So on the marketing side of the world, we look at breaking down the market for a business, and this was actually a thought I had on one of the presentations in Atlanta as well. They did a great job talking about the TAM, the total addressable market. That's the total market for this product, everywhere in the world, or everywhere in the country, everywhere in the state. And a lot of people kind of stop there and go, oh, this is $1 billion market. Well, that's great, but you have a med spa in Melbourne, Florida. You're not gonna service people in Washington from that location. So you break that down into the SAM, which is the serviceable available market. That's the portion of the market that you can reasonably address from your location. And then the serviceable obtainable market, the SOM, is the percentage of the SAM that you think you can actually capture, because you're never going to capture 100% of the market. So when you're doing these breakdowns, it would be great to see, not only this is $1 billion industry and where the trends are, but then for this particular unit, this particular business in the industry, how big is the serviceable market that you can address with this business? And then what do you think with your projections, what do you think you're going to obtain?
Okay, thank you for that.
I think that's I'll drop a little graphic into the chat for that.
That's a nice little piece of work, Olya, that you can do, and I'm sure David would take a super quick call with you to walk you through that in a bit more detail. So basically, you've got a 17,000 customer database. Like, that's the first thing I would do if I bought that business. I'd look at my capacity utilization, and I would put out a marketing communication, to that list and give them an offer, to come back. Because what's interesting is, they probably deal with, 500 to 600 patients a year. Yeah, they've got 17,000 on their list. Like, what would have to be true to get 1,000 or 2,000 more of that 17,000 back engaging with this business? Like, you could double or triple the business just by doing that, right? Because it looks like these guys don't do that. And then you look at you can go online, look at the location, take Kyle's 5 mile or whatever radius, look at the population of the people in that radius, do the demographical analysis as per the customer avatar that he's given you, and that will tell you how many people that would be the SAM. And then the other one would be, well, hey, if we can capture 10% of that, this is what our business, could look like. That's an exercise that you can do in like 30 minutes. And I'm sure David will guide you through that, or even Carter as well, if you connect with it. I just want to go to the 2 questions, then I want to move on, conscious of time. Let's go to Jolie. Hey, Jolie. Good to see you last weekend.
Yeah, it was
Thelma
great.
and Louise.
Wonderful event. Just a quick question. I might have missed it, Olya. How did you find the deal? I'm always curious on how you guys are finding these great deals.
It was posted by the seller on one of the broker type listings, but it was without the broker. He just did it himself.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, and then Patrick Alvarez. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. I think I missed it, but who's holding the license on and do you even need a license for Medspa? Is the owner currently holding it, or are you going to have another medical professional on staff? How have you worked that out?
I was planning to hire another doctor when he goes, but not even the doctor. One of the nurses. That's and in the state of Florida, anybody can inject. You don't need even a medical director, and you don't need to set up an MOS, I think it's called, or SOM. To have that. So I can operate this business without the doctor as long as I have medical trained personnel doing all of the treatments.
That is very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, we'll get your votes in. Olya, great presentation for your first time. Really, really good. Very, very good deal. Just check those ad backs, check the working capital, check the licensing and the transfer of ownership. But yeah, very, very good deal. And again, a really good presentation. That's what this call is all about. Yeah, it's good when the deals are great like this, but it's more the confidence and the delivery and the kind of the articulation of the pitch. And I think you did that perfectly. So great job with that. Hey guys, I'm Carl Allen. I'm the founder of Dealmaker Wealth Society. I've done tens of billions of dollars of deals over the last 30 plus years. If you're new to my channel, definitely hit like and subscribe so that you can get all of my amazing Dealmaker content in real time. You're not going to miss any of the outstanding information that I'm going to share with you. And if there's a question that you've got, if there's something that you want to know the answer for and you want me to speak to it, definitely hit me up in the comment section and I will record those videos for you and I will get them on this channel as soon as possible. So love having you part of this YouTube community and I can't wait to serve you. Until then, bye-bye for now.